Shanks is dead to me. After the past weekend of absolutely getting demolished at both the Treasure Cup and a Winamanga, I officially declared on Sunday I am never touching Shanks again. And you know, a lot of people said, well wait, check out the starter deck. Is it going to get any better? The answer is obviously no. I don't really do reviews on new cards, opinions, things that come out, but I really couldn't hold my tongue with the full release of this starter deck because it is kind of awful. As we know, our beautiful Shanks, 5,000 power, 5 life leader, does his minus 1,000 as his defensive move. But here in this starter deck, you see some, you see a Lucky Roo, you see a Yasop, no problem. This is to be expected. I kind of wish you had some kind of searcher other than Uda, but it's fine. Howling Gab, Bonk Punch, Hongo. I mean, these are very, very safe bets for the starter deck, but what we really care about is this bottom row down here. Starting from the right, we're given a 1-cost, 1,000 power Yasop. Activate main once per turn. Give up to 1 Rested Dawn to your leader or character. So this is obviously kind of made to synergize with Big Yasop being the 5-cost, 6,000 power. With 1 Dawn, you can minus it, but I would have much rather had a 1-cost Red Hair Pirates Chumpa blocker. I think those are quite powerful right now with the, the resurgence of aggro decks and not as much black removal being played. I don't really think this card is that good. If I was playing Shanks, which I am not, I would definitely not add this into my deck. Next up, they announced this Monkey D. Luffy. Activate main. You may rest 1 of your Dawn cards and this character and give 1 of your opponent's characters minus 1,000 power during this turn, which just doesn't seem worth it at all. So you rest a Dawn and this 1-cost character and you give minus 1,000. I mean, that is essentially a worse red force, right? Also, this is a film card, and we're kind of getting on theme that these 4 new cards that were made for the starter deck don't really seem to help out Shanks, but much more relevant to red, purple, Uda, like a lot of people are saying. I don't see any reason why you would put this card in your deck. It is just play red force, right? That makes total sense. Next up, Little Ben Beckman, a 4-cost 5,000 power character with a 1k counter. On play, you may trash 1 card from your hand. If your leader has the Red Hair Pirates, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with 4,000 base power or less, right? So, yes, in certain situations, it would be nice to be able to use this KO and, take out something small. Maybe you have a Yasop or Red Force, minus a 5k to 4,000, play this. But I think this makes Shanks overall weaker, not better, right? Because Shanks has a lot of different removal options. I don't really think he needed another KO. At the same time, you're trashing a card from hand, which notoriously is a problem with Shanks, either a small hand size or a very bricky hand. So yeah, you could trade a brick for an easy KO, but I don't really see a lot of value in this. I would rather try to get my trash and KOs and removal with 8-cost Silver Rayleigh and 7-cost Big Beckman. And then, of course, looking at our 2 super rares, the 9-cost 10,000 power Shanks. If your opponent has a character with 8,000 base power or more, give this card in your hand minus 3,000 cost, which is great. If you're going minus 3 cost to a 6, that can definitely give you a little bit of value for if you're a little bit behind, but I would much rather try to remove an 8,000 base power character than play this, but it's not a bad backup option. On play, if your leader has the Red Haired Pirates type or is Uta, emphasis on the or is Uta, your leader gains plus 2,000 power to the end of your opponent's next end phase, which seems to be very popular in this new starter deck. Kind of showing maybe that they even know that this new red-purple 7k leader, Roger, that was leaked is going to be a dominating leader when it does release. I'm assuming OP13. I don't know if they actually confirmed when or how it's being released. But this is a perfectly fine card, but I don't necessarily see it being put in a lot of Shanks decks. Maybe you can run 1 or 2 copies if you really want to. but what would you really take out? I think you get a lot more value from a 10-drop Shanks, Silver Rayleigh, even a Dragon, but it could act as a nice, you know, if getting a 10,000 for 6 cost, yeah, that's really nice, but I don't really think it is the best use. Maybe it's can help counter out a little bit of, you know, our new OP 11 Luffy, because they're going to ramp and put on some big bodies quick. But if I was playing Shanks, I would rather either lean into rush and aggro or removal. I don't really think that this card is really a game changer. Nothing like the starter decks that we got before with Dofi and Ploofy. I mean, they basically provided stable cards for those decks that are played today. And finally, in the Shanks deck, not a red hair pirates. The last super rare is a 6 cost 4,000 power 2k for Uta. If you have a character with 10,000 power or more, give this card in your hand -4 cost. Okay, so if you're playing 10-drop Shanks or something like that, you can basically play a 4,000 power out pretty cheap, and it is a blocker. So in essence, you know, this is kind of the chump blocker that I was asking for, but there's two main problems with it. One, it's a 2k, so I don't necessarily want to carry too many of them because you're giving up a good amount of counter for a block. Second, if you don't have a 10,000 power, when would you ever really want to play this card? Probably never. And I just came up with a third, and the most obvious reason why this card is not good in Shanks is that it's a blocker. No, it's a blocker. No, we're fine with it's a blocker. It's a film card. There is no red hair pirate, so it's not searchable. You can't use Uta, Searcher, or the event. You know, you can't use this come on, we'll fight you event to be able to find this. So another unsearchable card in the Shanks deck is definitely not what you want to see. You know, we can't really search Silver Rayleigh, we can't search Roger, so already you're limited in your search. I don't think the last thing we need is to add more film cards. This really just seems like a card for red, purple, Uta. I already said that. Overall, I'm extremely underwhelmed with this starter deck. I really thought maybe this would, you know, could give me enough exciting cards or new text for Shanks to be able to try it out. But I officially feel like my favorite red hair buddy is going off into the distance and he will never be played again. We're switching it up. Can't quite reveal what we're playing yet. I mean, I probably already talked about it on Twitter, but Shanks is just not where it used to be. You know, it was a very dominating deck in OP09 and OP10, but it's just kind of over. I think OP11's too quick of a meta for it to keep up, even with its removal. You know, it's a little bit of a slower deck anyway, depending on its top end. I think unless Shanks gets a really strong draw card engine and maybe a Red Hair Pirates searcher for, or sorry, not Red Hair Pirates, but something that can search a little bit more than just Red Hair Pirates, we could possibly see this come back. But for now, I think it's Buggy's time to shine. Shanks is taking the back seat. And let me know what you think about this starter deck, if I'm absolutely wrong or if I'm absolutely right. Are you going to be playing Shanks in OP11? Let me know in the comments below, but thank you so much for tuning in. This is my unsolicited opinion on my very first card review, which it being, of course, Shanks cards. That makes me very, very upset. They did my poor boy not well at all. His time is over. Thanks for watching.